all right, I have something to bring to the table.
A seat? I'm sorry.
I got you. I want to bring this to the table. We are in the age of enlightened consciousness. This was prophesied about in the 1990s. Okay, what year were you born?
95.
So this was prophesied around the time when your spirit and your essence was first forming. And it was saying that we're going to go through an economical time where the scales are going to be turned, not in balance, but turned. And it's going to be an age of where people are going to become more conscious, and the feminine energy is going to excel on the planet. And right now, we see women of color in excellent places, to the point where they're attacking the relationship and the balance of the community through the women and through the media. As a woman who's using media as her gift, what do you want to attack to make sure that you can keep a balance in your life and in the community that you serve?
Wow, that's a loaded question. What do I want to attack? Well, the first thing that honestly popped into my head was naysayers.
Okay.
But that's not my final answer. But I'm gonna start with naysayers while I think of something else, but definitely naysayers because there's too much doubt in the community. One thing that not upsets me, one thing that really bothers me about Plainfield, but also Jersey as a whole, is so hard for us to support each other. It's like it's such a struggle trying to get people to support each other. It's like we all want to, in a sense, do the same things, go the same place, make money, provide for our family, leave our legacy. And it's like, I can't do this for you unless you do this for me. Or I can't do this for you unless you got this amount of, I had a book signing for my second book, and I asked an artist to come and play good.
Well, we don't have to talk about that because at the end of the day, yeah, you're right. New Jersey is competition rather than cooperation. So you want to attack the competition aspect and instill more cooperation.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing that separates and divides our people on so many matters. So let's talk about the non-denominational Christian thing, because I'm a believer in Christ as well.
Yes.
But I don't believe like most people believe, because pardon me, I think everybody full of shit. I do. I mean, I gotta keep it real with you. I can be all believe in the same book, but you call yourself one thing and then something else, and then y'all can't get along. That's gang mentality. So I don't really get into that, but I can. It's just not for you, because that would be unfair. That's not what our institute is about. I like to keep it focused on the question though, because as a woman, you have to respect that in this country, the European standard of what a woman is to what a woman is now has completely changed. It's going more Eastern, more than staying Western philosophy. Because in the history of people of color's communities, the woman was never subservient. She was equal but had her own place. That's why when some people say a woman should know her place, I don't find that offensive. Maybe you do. Do you?
I think it's offensive in the tone and possibly the subject of the conversation, because some people can be really condescending, and I think it's the condescending attitude that kind of just messes it all up. Because I don't think it's necessarily the words, because that's, you can say that about anything. A man should stay in a man's place, but I think it's whatever the tone is and whatever the topic and the condescending voice that comes with it. I think that's why sometimes when women hear that, it's just like, what did you just say to me? Like,
no, I get it, because like in the Western philosophy, we are taught we are opposite sexes. But to oppose means to fight, struggle, and war. Because opposites, they may attract, but opposites repel.
Yeah.
But when you're complementary, you come together. You bring life. You build. And that was the natural position of the two sides of God. Masculine and feminine energy brings forth life. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, the Renaissance in the matter of thought saw women come from the I matter too to I have rules to make as well. What rules do you want to bring to establish so that the young females that come after you are not only inspired, but they can pick up from what you have done and go to their next level?
The first thing that came to my head was you can do everything by yourself. But see, that's not necessarily true, because women, we need men to procreate, you know, rebirth, have children. That's one thing we can't do by ourselves. But I think in the sense of just inspiring strength of women and things like that, I think the message that I want to give out is not necessarily you can do everything by yourself, but don't feel like you need, you know, how can I say it? I'm very like particular on how I say things because I want it to mean how I say it.
No, that's good.
You don't need a crutch, in a sense, you know. You should be able to walk on your own 2 feet. You should be able to get things you want and solve your problems and be able to do all that and still have strength and energy to achieve your goals. It's not going to be easy. Nobody's saying it is, but you should have the endurance to want to achieve that for yourself.
Okay. That's deep. Okay. Yes, everybody, I believe, should have their way of enacting moral responsibility. It was once said by a great orator. He said, the responsibility of a man is to take care of his woman. And that means not only to hold her down, it means not to hold her back. Mm-hmm. And we've come to a time when people are tired of being held back, mm-hmm. and see the equality and commitment in empowering your partner. Mm-hmm. As a woman seeing this and understanding that, how do you feel about the treatment of women in media, and how do you express that frustration? If it frustrates you, or how do you celebrate it in your style?
Well, first of all, we all are our own beings. Like you said, we all have a moral responsibility. Moral responsibility. I believe we have a moral responsibility to always better ourselves and to always put ourselves into better situations. Things that I see in the media do sometimes frustrate me, but in the same sense, as I just said, we are our own beings. So just like, you know, and it's funny because sometimes when I talk, people think I'm harsh, but I'm really just trying to give it 100%. So like, for instance, my problems are my problems, right? And it's my responsibility if I want to take my problems to someone else for assistance with those problems, right? Everybody has their own problems that they're responsible to fix. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. Dang, I'm getting off topic. I'm sorry.
Let's pick it back up this way.
Please.
Let's pick it back up this way. So I'm gonna revisit that question. Let me just ask it a different way.
Okay.
Women in society's positions have changed. Mm-hmm. It could be frustrating and it could be uplifting. How do you attack that with your art?
With my art, okay. Frustrating, okay. Attacking that with my art, firstly, I just try to be honest about every situation. I personally try to I bring my strength and my individuality into my poems always, but like I said before, when I talk about, when I write about other people's experiences, I also try to tie that in too. So when I see things in the media, or even if I see things just with my friends and I don't agree with it and it frustrates me, you know, I'm not the type of person to bash down on people, because what you do is what you do. It's your responsibility, it's your choice. But in my art, I also don't try to bash, but I just try to, like I said, bring more understanding and even try to pose questions. And I know in poetry people can't answer your questions, but I try to pose questions to basically make the reader think. Like, for example, I wrote a poem called Letter to His Wife, and that poem is basically about domestic violence and about how a woman, even sometimes a man, but the poem is about a woman, how a woman can stay in a relationship like that because of love, you know? And I've seen that with my friends, and I'm not gonna bash them and be like, you shouldn't be with him and da-da-da-da-da. But at the same time, I tell them, like, you should want better for yourself, you know, and you should see yourself in a better situation, and don't you want to have, you know, a more positive experience in life and things like that. So that's how I basically translate that into my art, because I'm not that type of person to just come for someone, for lack of words.
I feel that, but one thing that I feel as a man, it's difficult for me to write and come from a female's perspective. Mm-hmm. As a writer, is it difficult for you to come from a male perspective? Sometimes, but when I'm trying to come from a perspective that I'm not really sure about, I sort of, in my own way, do my own research. Like, obviously, you can't really like Google stuff like that, but you know, I just try to hang out with more males and get their opinions. Like, I have very opinionated friends, believe it or not. Shout out to them.
Yeah, and we have very opinionated conversations and things of that such. And so, a lot of those opinions and experiences that I'll hear, you know, I take extra listening to them, and for example, with the Letter to His Wife, I don't really talk about the man side that much, but there's some pieces that I've heard from male friends that I sort of inched into there, because it's, how can I say, like you said, we're opposites attract, but opposites also repel. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we don't, as men and women, we don't always think the same, but it's sort of nice to have both of those kind of thoughts. And so I do try to get both of those thoughts in my work to sort of just show both sides, because I don't want to be one-sided.
So let me get your opinion on this. Recently there was a video of a gentleman kicking a woman on a train. Very disgusting.
Yeah, I didn't see the video, but I saw the little picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very disgusting. Mm-hmm. And the gentleman's reaction was world star that. And now the gentleman's the person has been arrested, and now poetic justice will be served. How do you feel as a person who sees that? Do you not, I mean, I don't know how you feel personally, because it should make you feel bad if you have a heart. But how does the emotions of that aid in your creative process?
Well, when like I said, I didn't see the clip, because I knew seeing the clip was gonna make me just extra, ugh.
Yeah.
So, when I saw the picture on Facebook, my first reaction was, it's always something crazy going on a New York train. Always something crazy. My second reaction was, like I said, I'm somebody that's always trying to understand. So me personally, I did get angry at it, but the poetic side of me wanted to know, what prompted you to do that? Like, you said World Star that, yeah, you want to be on World Star? It was a social media game. Like, what it prompted in me was just more questions. Like, why did you do that? What prompted you to do that? What would your mother think if she saw you do that? Just different things like that. And it's those type of questions that I sort of I don't try to answer them in my poems, but I try to take them from questions to statements, if that makes sense.